Religion is wrong. You are not broken. You are beloved. A viral meme claims that your smallest sin is infinitely offensive to a holy God. But don't worry, Jesus covers you. We're calling that what it is: spiritual shame dressed up as devotion. In this episode, we dismantle the idea that you're a cosmic disappointment and reclaim a deeper truth. You were never vile. You were never a liability. You are already fully beloved. The truth is, when God looks at you, when God sees you, you are perfect. Listen in.
Would it be okay if I were to tell you that I am afraid someday? So I call you up and you call me down. Would it be okay?
Hello and welcome to the FreedHearts podcast. My name is Robert Cottrell and I'm here as always with
Susan Cottrell.
Hi, Susan Cottrell.
Hi, so good to see you.
You too. Hi, everybody.
On our podcast.
Friends, we've seen several of these things online, and I just could not scroll past it this time and not talk to you about it. It was one of those, I know you've seen them, and don't mean to trigger you on this, but I know you've seen them. They're clean, beautifully designed memes, soft background, elegant font, very devotional, very holy looking, very humble sounding. And it said something like this: if we had the veil pulled back and saw even a glimpse of how infinitely offensive the smallest sin is before our thrice holy God, we would be utterly undone. Yet if you are in Christ, this same God looks at you as holy and blameless. Let that sink in. Phew. It's that old, when God looks at us, he sees Jesus, not us, because we're so offensive, that kind of thing. Now, on the surface, sounds spiritual, yeah?
Certainly sounds like what we're taught in our churches.
Sounds reverent, sounds like awe, but I could not let this one go. Because underneath that poetic language is the same old crap-ass message dressed up as humility. And the message they're telling us, they're trying to tell you is this: you are disgusting to God. But lucky for you, Jesus stands in front of you like a cosmic human shield. And beloved, we need to talk about this.
Because let me tell you, that is not good news.
Nope.
Not good news. It is psychological violence wrapped in the language of worship. And it's not what the Bible teaches, by the way, when we understand it properly. It's what religion teaches. So today, we're going to gently and honestly pull it apart. So we don't want to be edgy or contrarian just for the sake of it. But we do this because there are people listening right now who have lived under this crap-ass theology for decades, and it has shaped how we see ourselves, how we see God, how we see our children, how we see our body, how we see our queerness, how we see our worth. And it's not good. So let's take a breath. And let's look at what this teaching is actually saying.
When you strip away that devotional tone, here's what's being communicated. God is perfect, you are vile. God cannot tolerate you as you are, so God looks at Jesus instead of you, and you should be grateful.
Whew, man.
That's the structure. And friends, that's not humility, that's humiliation.
Wow.
It is the internalization of spiritual shame. And the real tragedy is many of us were taught to call that love.
Yes, religion teaches that as love. And the whole drama only works if we imagine God as a supersized human, a very large, very sensitive being with impossibly high standards. and an extremely low tolerance for human messiness. A friend of mine said, look, God knew what God was getting when God created me. So, to think I'd ever be other than that is just ridiculous. Mm-hmm. And, this is a cosmic moral perfectionist with a clipboard. I know. Think of the most demanding perfectionist parents or teachers or whoever coaches you can imagine. And that's the God this meme depends on. But the framing is entirely wrong. What if God is not a person in the sky grading your thoughts? What if God is not an anxious deity recoiling, disgusted at your imperfections? What if God is not a divine being with moral OCD? And what if the word God is pointing to something so much deeper and bigger than that? What if God is the ground of being itself, the depth of reality, the source, the isness of everything? Because that's what our science, our quantum science, actually tells us.
By the way, just a little tease here. Look for something that we are involved in called the Life Collective. The Life Collective. We will give you more information on that. Just watch our social media for that.
Yes.
This is all
connected.
Has to do with what you just said.
Yeah. And if that is true, and it is true, that God is the depth of reality, the source, the isness of everything, then the whole separation story collapses.
Wow.
Collapses. There's no moral tightrope to walk. There's no divine disgust to appease. There's no cosmic courtroom drama unfolding about your existence. If God is the source of all being, then you're not outside of that source. How could you be outside that source? How could you be outside of all that is? You're not a foreign object trying to sneak into holiness. You're already rooted in the same reality that gives birth to stars. You don't need to be covered. You don't need to be hidden. You don't need to be cosmetically altered for God to tolerate you. You're not a problem God is trying to solve. Just pause there.
Yeah.
Because that alone can dismantle decades of fear.
If we have said this before, but if we could see ourselves truly through God's eyes, it would change everything.
Everything.
Everything. And what you just shared in those last 3 or 4 sentences, if we just got that, if that's all we took away from this, it would dismantle decades of fear.
Yeah. I'll say them again, that we don't need to be covered. We don't need to be hidden. We don't need to be cosmetically altered for God to tolerate us. We are not a problem God is trying to solve.
Yeah, I love that thing you said too when you said, let me see if I can remember. You're not a foreign object trying to sneak into holiness.
Yes.
We're
like an
we're
alien.
already there. We're already there. So let's kind of look at it from another way. Here's another question. What about Jesus? Did Jesus ever walk around saying, "You are morally repulsive, but don't worry, my Father's going to pretend you're me"?
That is so gross.
But that's what that message is.
I know it is, but it's so gross.
And by the way, he didn't say anything like that.
No.
He looked at people who were shamed by that message, who were shamed by religion, and he restored them. He looked at people labeled unclean, and he touched them. He looked at people pushed outside of belonging, and he called them beloved.
I love that.
The doctrine of imputed righteousness, the idea that God legally transfers Jesus' perfection onto your account because you're inherently offensive, is that is theological scaffolding built later.
It was built later. It was nothing to do with Jesus.
And what does scaffolding do? It supports a crumbling structure.
I love that image. I love that image.
That's Paul wrestling with language, by the way.
Yes.
Paul interpreting a mystical encounter through his Pharisaic training.
Yeah, and Paul was in a specific time and place in occupied Rome for a specific purpose, trying to get his little fledgling Christians through the occupied Rome. He was not there to write the new Leviticus. He would have told you that.
Yeah. Now, listen, Paul was brilliant. Okay, Paul, he was wrestling honestly.
Yeah.
But Paul was doing theology.
Yeah.
We turned it. Yeah, go ahead.
And about a lot of crap was, like put on Paul.
Yeah.
I think, I'm not defending him, but I think they misinterpreted a lot of it. And patriarchy did what it did to it. But anyway.
And in a couple.
He was not creating a whole new theology for us.
And there's a whole episode. In fact, in a couple of weeks or so, we're going to start something really fun, really special. We're going to revisit some old topics. Let me rephrase that. Not old topics. Revisit some of really important, critical topics that we've covered in our last 223 episodes. And one of those that I thought of when you said that was that, are people following Paul or Jesus? It's a whole episode about this. So Paul, and we took that and we turned it into metaphysics. And then we turned metaphysics into a weapon. Understanding Paul is our responsibility. Deifying Paul is our mistake.
That's really good.
Because when we freeze his wrestling into eternal cosmic law, we end up with memes like I talked about. And those memes shape how children see themselves.
Raise your hand if you've been affected in a really awful way.
Yeah, we see you.
By this theology, we see you.
They shape how queer kids see themselves. They shape how parents see their own humanity. And beloved, that matters.
The other week when we did the one about the two women whose parents couldn't embrace them, it's because of theology like this.
That's right.
That they just couldn't do it. Their fear that was trained into them means they cannot embrace their children.
Yeah, they are cowering behind Jesus because God is disgusted with them.
Yeah, if they make a bad mistake.
So how do you, like RuPaul says, if you can't love yourself, how the hell are you going to love someone else? And how, they can't give what they don't have. So
okay, so let's go back further. Let's go back before sin, before shame, before atonement theories, before guilt machinery. And what does the story say? It says human beings are good. Not good once they're covered, not good if they perform, not good if they're straight, not good after substitution, good, full stop.
that was a mic drop.
Okay, I like it. If you're going to take the narrative seriously, take that seriously. That you are good. You were created good.
Full stop.
Full stop. The foundational claim of the story is not separation. It is belonging. The claim is not depravity. It is inherent worth. The tragedy of religion is not that it takes sin seriously. It's that it doesn't take our goodness seriously. Our goodness came first. And when we forget that, everything goes to hell. We come to our humanity as if we're contaminated. We interpret our desires as danger. We interpret our child's identity as rebellion. And we're told that that's faithfulness.
Wow.
And yes, and what a lot of people are going to say at this juncture is, well, we were good, but there's the fall. Go back into one of our episodes where we talk about the fall. That is another big pile of manure. It's
part of the
not true. It's part of the scaffolding of a structure trying to contain people.
That's right. So let's talk about the emotional engine underneath this theology. Let's call it sacrifice anxiety.
Ooh, that's intriguing.
ancient religion said, if we don't appease the gods, something bad will happen. So what did people do? They offered bulls and goats. Modern religion says, if you don't perform correctly, God will be disappointed. So now we offer quiet times, moral performance, accountability, spiritual hustle, different rituals, same anxiety.
Wow.
And it's saying, if I don't do this right, God won't be happy with me. And here's the hard truth. The gods we fear are often projections of our own shame.
Whoa. Can you say that again?
The gods we fear are often projections of our own shame.
Oh man, that is so true.
Inherited narratives of unworthiness. Trying to please God keeps the illusion of separation alive. It keeps us hustling for a love that was never withheld.
It was always ours without condition.
Yes. And friends, love that must be earned, it's not love, it's control.
Whoa. This is so good. This is just really good against the narrative we've been taught. So
this might be again, this is not promotion because we get nothing. Yet all of our stuff is free, so we get nothing. But this might be a very good episode to share on social media because, man, how many people are impacted by this.
Yeah. So if you teach a child that they're inherently offensive to the creator of the universe, if you teach a queer teenager that their internal life, their authentic self, makes God recoil, if you teach a parent that their doubts, their even questioning, disgusts heaven, that's devastating, psychologically, emotionally, physically.
Yeah. And you may call that orthodoxy.
Or have been told it's orthodoxy.
Yeah. But listen, you cannot build secure attachment to a God who secretly can't stand you. Okay,
it's amazing, isn't it?
Let's just bring this down to real world. I mean, if Susan and I have been married 38 years,
yay.
But if I was taught and told and really believed that she can't stand me, how can I build, oh my gosh, how can I build an attachment?
Right.
With her, a commitment, a love, a peace, a joy.
And every time we interact, I'm picturing some other person.
Walk around, in terror all the time and sadness about how horrible I must be, And so imagine, again, you can't build secure attachment to a God who secretly can't stand you. You can't experience spiritual intimacy with a deity who must look away to tolerate you.
It's disgusting.
It's no wonder we tolerate so much abuse from our partners in other relationships. If we tolerate that kind of thing from God, who has to look away just to tolerate us, it makes accepting that kind of stuff from parents, family members, partners, other relationships, that kind of abuse, easier.
Sure.
We can't grow into...
What do you expect? If God can't stand you, why would they?
We can't grow into wholeness. We can't self-actualize. We can't find peace if we believe that our core self is contamination. That is not humility. That's trauma.
Wow. So let's rewrite that meme.
Yeah.
All right. So let's step around that imaginary curtain hiding a furious, disgusted deity, a disappointed God. And even if you just say, well, I'm okay, but I'm not really God's best. You've heard that, right? Yeah. All that fantasy, that religious fantasy of a disappointed God, forget that. Just drop that right there and come around here and let's pull back the veil of inherited shame, the veil of self-condemnation, the religious veil that said your existence was a liability. And what if for a moment you pulled that veil back? And what if you saw even a flicker of your infinite worth, your beauty, your complexity, your depth, your power, your tenderness? Yeah, you wouldn't be undone by horror. You'd be undone by wonder. Because if the ground of your being is the same ultimate reality that pulses at the heart of all existence, and it is, then you're not a cosmic disappointment waiting to be forgiven. You're an expression of all that is. You're an expression of God, full of wonder, unrepeatable, luminous, already whole. Just soak that in. And forget that story of your depravity. Instead, let the unbearable brightness of your own existence shine and light you up.
Wow.
This really matters.
Yeah.
Parents, especially of LGBTQ kids, this matters. Because if you believe your child is fundamentally offensive to God without theological covering, you'll approach them with anxiety and you'll approach them as a spiritual problem that you have to manage, and you'll try to change them. And what child doesn't love that?
Yeah.
But if you believe your child is already rooted in sacred worth, already beloved, already good, then everything changes. You move from fear to faith, from suspicion to trust, from correction to celebration, and that changes everything.
Well said. Well said. If you're deconstructing right now, if you're untangling faith from fear, if you're trying to separate God from the shame that was handed to you, beloved, you're not crazy. You're not rebellious.
You're finding your sanity.
Yeah. You're not losing your faith. You are refusing to worship a God made in the image of your insecurity. And that's brave.
Yes, indeed.
That's brave.
So here's the invitation. Can you shift your perspective to see that holiness is not God tolerating you through Jesus, but holiness is the depth of the goodness already present in you? That grace is not a legal transaction with a transactional God. Grace is simply the truth about existence. Can you shift your perspective to see that you belong? You were never outside. You were never disgusting. You were never a cosmic liability. You've always been held right in the center of the universe. Take a breath and soak that in and let relief just cover you and fill you and wash away all the old stuff. You don't have to hustle for divine approval. You don't have to shrink yourself to be acceptable. You don't have to hide behind anyone to be loved. You're not offensive to God. You never were. You're part of the sacred fabric of everything that is. And that is the astoundingly good news. That's what gospel means. Astoundingly good news.
Beloved, if this episode stirred something in you, anger, relief, grief, clarity, sit with that. Listen to it again. Sit with that. Talk about it. Share it. Send it to someone who's been living under that weight, and that would be just about anybody. And as always, beloved, as always, we are here to free hearts, to love and be loved. It's what you deserve. We love you. Bye.
Bye.
Would it be okay if I were to tell you that I am afraid someday? So I call you up and you call me down. Would it be okay?
You've been listening to the Freed Hearts Podcast. We have extensive resources and vibrant, inclusive community for you at freedhearts.org. Please come say hello. If you have questions, comments, or suggestions for the podcast, just email us at podcast@freedhearts.org. Audio engineering is by Luke Johnson. The music is provided by our child, the Grammy-nominated Saint Sinner. You can find out more about him and his music at saintsinnermusic.com. Please share, subscribe, and follow on your favorite platform and support if you can. And thanks for listening.